If you guys been paying attention to the media in the past few weeks, you would have noticed that Pentagon came out with some new information on UFOs. They are finally admitting that they know about aliens for a while now, which we all know, and they've been lying about because of Roswell. But I have a video here with them in their briefing, and we're gonna go through it to see what more they're lying about.
More than 50 years ago, the U.S. government ended Project Blue Book, an effort to catalog and understand sightings of objects in the air that could not otherwise be explained. For more than 20 years, that project had treated unidentified anomalies in our airspace as a national security threat to be monitored and investigated. And they need to be treated that way. For too long, the stigma associated with UAPs has gotten in the way of good intelligence analysis. Pilots avoided reporting or were laughed at when they did. DoD officials
I mean, you just can imagine what it's like for an average everyday person to come out and talk about something like this, whether or not if they've experienced a sighting or not. But if a pilot takes so much backlash, a military pilot takes so much backlash, or commercial airline pilots take so much backlash when they talk about this stuff, nobody's gonna want to talk about it. Nobody want to be called a crazy psychopathic loon who wear tinfoil hats.
relegated the issue to the back room or swept it under the rug entirely, fearful of a skeptical national security community. Today, we know better. UAPs are unexplained, it's true, but they are real. They need to be investigated, and many threats they pose need to be mitigated. That the executive branch and administration from both parties has been sweeping concerns about UAPs under the rug by focusing on events that can be explained and avoiding events that cannot be explained. What can you say to give the American people confidence that you aren't just focusing our attention on low-hanging fruit with easy explanations?
Congressman, I'll start, and then Mr. Bray, please feel free to weigh in. So the way that we're approaching this is with a more thorough, standardized methodology than what we have in the past. First and foremost, the Secretary of Defense is chartering this effort. This is not someone lower in the Department of Defense. And he has assigned that task to the Office of Secretary of Defense, the Undersecretary for Intelligence and Security, that's me, because I'm responsible for looking at intelligence matters, I'm responsible for security matters. This is potentially both. So when you start concerning ourselves with the safety of our personnel, the safety of our installations and bases, there's no other higher priority than what we have than actually getting after this. And as you have stated, we have been assigned that task to actually stand up an office, the AIM-SOG, which I believe the name, sir, will likely change. But we have moved forward in terms of moving to establish
initiative to.
I mean, that's his statement of bringing back confidence in the U.S. people when it comes to these type of things. That didn't give me any confidence that you guys gonna be truthful. Surely didn't. You just basically said that you're in charge. I mean, it's not the question that he asked.
Study UFOs in the 1960s called Project Blue Book. It's also been well reported in our briefing and in other places that we have more recent projects, specifically ATIP. Could you describe any other initiatives that the DoD or DoD contractors have managed after Project Blue Book ended and prior to ATIP beginning? Did anything also predate Project Blue Book?
So I can't speak to what may have predated Project Blue Book. I mean, of course, there's Roswell and all these other things that people have talked about over the years. I'm familiar with Blue Book. I'm familiar with ATIP. I haven't seen other documented studies that have been done by DoD in that regard.
So you're not aware of anything in between Project Blue Book and ATIP?
I'm not aware of anything that's official that was done in between those two. Hasn't been brought to my attention.
Okay. Additionally, are you aware of any other DoD or DoD contract programs focused on UAPs from a technological engineering perspective? And by that I mean, are you aware of any technology initiatives focused on this topic other than initiatives focused on the individual case investigations?
I'm not aware of any contractual programs that are focused on anything related to this other than what we are doing in the Navy Task Force.
I find it crazy that the person who just claimed that they're in charge of all the work that's getting been done is unaware of everything that's before him. I mean, if you're gonna be the person taking the lead and bringing out all this information, don't you think you should start from the beginning? Don't you think you should have made it your goal to go back and get all this past information? Because this been going on for a while now. There have been documents and pictures from back in the 80s, and you should know this information if you're gonna take the job to reveal the truth.
And what we're about to launch in terms of our effort.
Same question for you, Mr. Bray.
Same answer, not aware of anything outside what we are doing in the UAP task force.
So just to confirm, you're not aware of any technology or engineering resources that have been focused on these efforts besides what we've mentioned today?
Once again, I'll say no contractual or programmatic efforts that are involved. The reason why I qualify it that way, let me qualify it that way. I can't speak to what people may be looking at in the department. Somebody says, I'm looking at something.
Regarding unidentified aerial phenomena. Since the early 2000s, we have seen an increasing number of unauthorized and or unidentified aircraft or objects in military-controlled training areas and training ranges and other designated airspace. Reports of sightings are frequent and continuing. Since the release of that preliminary report, the UAP Task Force database has now grown to contain approximately 400 reports. The stigma has been reduced. We've also made progress.
The stigma has been reduced because now you guys seen it as a national security threat. Before, when it was just considered as a natural occurrence or
Can't speak to what people may be looking at in the department. Somebody says, I'm looking at something.
Regarding unidentified aerial phenomena. Since the early 2000s, we have seen an increasing number of unauthorized and or unidentified aircraft or objects in military-controlled training areas and training ranges and other designated airspace. Reports of sightings are frequent and continuing. Since the release of that preliminary report, the UAP Task Force database has now grown to contain approximately 400 reports. The stigma has been reduced. We've also made progress in resolving the character of a limited number of UAP encounters. For example, let me show you a couple of another video and image taken years apart in different areas. In this video, U.S. Navy personnel recorded what appears to be triangles, some flashing, recorded several years ago, off the coast of the United States. This was recorded while the U.S. Navy ship observed a number of small unmanned aerial systems in the area. And importantly, the video was taken through night vision goggles with a single lens reflex camera. These remained unresolved for several years.
So I would love to tell you guys that they came out with some real information proving this without a doubt, but they didn't. All they did was just show us some more clips and some more 90s quality videos of lights and orbs flying around. I mean, we've been on this earth for a while, man, and we're not dumb. We know it can't possibly be a coincidence that humans are the only one who are able to survive, you know? If we made it, the chance of another planet like ours having the same outcome is very likely. But it's bigger than that, you know. What it really falls on is if our government is gonna tell us the truth. They can lie and they can hide this information as much as they want, but as you can see right here, there's a lot going on that's unexplained. I'm not gonna say I have the answer, I know what's happening, but there's a lot happening, man, and it's not just Earth. If you pay attention to space and a lot of these videos from the International Space Station, you see a lot of weird stuff happening. And personally, I I just don't know how long it's gonna take them to really be honest, but they're gonna have to eventually because something or someone is out there doing this, and telling people they're crazy isn't the answer.